Hello all, it's Clint Bussey again. I felt compelled to make a video in response to Chuck Huff's video about going to the Kingdom Hall and confronting elders, asking them if they shun former members. True, the first guy he talked to, he did ask if he shunned his family and friends. The guy said no. It may be that his family and friends are not disfellowshipped. So that wasn't necessarily a lie. But then he asked, do you shun former members who no longer agree with the governing body? He then said no. Now it's true again. Maybe he does not shun former members. Maybe he's living a double life. But he knows and is lying to say that the religion does not. Oh, we just encourage Bible reading, he says. So, yeah. It's, I think what Chuck did is good at exposing the witnesses to the general public and bringing an element of shame in a witness. Not necessarily going to make them stop or reason that they shouldn't do it, but to shame them. Sure, they're going to continue to lie, but this lying in front of the camera is going to make them look worse. It's going to hurt the religion. That's the point. No, I mean, those elders might not go away and change. Definitely not that day. They may not go home and research or any of those things. But, you know, Chuck didn't go there with the intent of changing those elders. In fact, he knew they weren't going to change. And anybody who talks to Jehovah's Witnesses knows that reasoning with them and pointing them to facts. Oh, the Watchtower joined the UN. Or, you know, what's another good one? The Bible doesn't necessarily, the word disfellowship is not in the Bible, or just whatever it is you're talking to them about. They don't listen to facts and reason. They ignore it. So, the problem is that they are still abusing other people. They're still breaking up families. They're still shunning people. They're still not allowing children to have medical treatment. Blood transfusions is what I mean when I say medical treatment. That ends up in their death. So at this point, it's not about changing their minds. It's about making them face the penalty and the consequence of what they've done. Reaping what they have sown. And by exposing them, and you know, Chuck was calling them coward, he was calling them a liar, and yeah, that's what they are. They are liars, and they are cowards. They are afraid of men. You know, witnesses brag about how in Nazi Germany they stood fast and didn't recant their faith. And they're so proud that they weren't afraid of men. But if a apostate shows up to the Kingdom Hall and confronts them about shunning, they suddenly become very afraid. That exposes them for any observer, even other witnesses, to think a little bit deeper about this. To give you another example, this is an extreme example, but let's talk about a child molester. Now, that's a terrible act, of course. I don't know what would drive a person to do that, but there probably is some catalyst to it. They say in Michael Jackson, who was also a witness, you know, at least an ex-witness, that maybe the reason that he was so interested in children, even though he wasn't proven guilty for child molestation, who knows, you know. But one reason he may have been interested in his children is because he was denied a real childhood. So therefore he needed to connect with those children, maybe even in a relationship way. It's crazy. But you could feel sorry on a certain level to him, or a child molester. I even have a little bit of compassion. Man, I would hate to be that crazy that I was attracted to little children, and that would actually do something like that. So the child molester continues to do it. What happened? Sorry. Anyway, and he continues in his behavior and continues to hide it from other people who would put him in jail for it. Okay? And therein lies the point. Do you care more about his feelings and how he was raised and what led to his child molestation? Or do you care more about the child who's being molested? Sure, he's going to lie, and he's going to say he's, whatever, and he's probably got tons of different children he's molested. And he's going to lie and lie until he's convicted. And then he has to face what he's done. It's very similar with the witnesses. Yeah, the elders are going to lie. They're going to hide that they disfellowship people. And we understand why they do it. But that's sad that we understand that. That's sad. It's not as bad as child molestation. But come on. A mother and father disowning their own child because they disagree with them on a religion who's been wrong over and over again. That's pretty bad. Yes, they deserve this public shame. They deserve this retribution, this discipline that's coming to them. Now, we can't put them in jail, and I'm against having all these little human, I'm not against human right laws, but taking them to the extreme to where it starts getting in the way of freedom of thought, freedom of religion. I'm against that. But if they have the freedom of religion to say if somebody doesn't agree with me, I can shun them and disrupt families, then don't I have the freedom of religion to say I'm going to oppose that? My religion is to oppose people who do that and try to put an end to it. They try to expose false religion. Yeah, sure, now you look just like the Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay, do I really? Do I really look just like the Jehovah's Witnesses when I do that? Really? Standing up against people who break up families and abuse, even their own children because they don't agree with them about a religion. I stand up against that. I get in their way. Chuck gets in their way. He exposes them to shame. And you look just like a Jehovah's Witness. Let's talk about the civil rights war that we had. Now, I don't claim to be an expert on it. But one thing I do know is that, society in general was discriminating the African Americans. And they couldn't even drink from the same water fountain as a white person. Now, I go to the Kingdom Hall and I don't put up with shunning. I don't see that any different than when African Americans decided, hey, I'm going to go drink from their same fountain and I'm going to get on the front of the bus. You say it's not going to do any good. Well, I think it did a lot of good. It's been tried and proven to work. That whole movement was about not putting up with stuff like that. The whole movement was about exposing people for what they did. Not feeling sorry for why they felt that way. Their parents raised them to hate black people. Who cares? They need to face what they're doing. Not sit around and feel sorry for their stupidity. Yeah, sure, I used to shun people. And I hate that I used to do that. My mom has even said, well, you used to do the same thing. Sure. But I recognize it. I realize it's evil. And evil exists when good men do nothing. I think more people should do what Chuck did so that it gets more attention. So that they have to face it. Man, now we can't hide what we're doing anymore. Now we have to face the consequences. What about a cheating spouse? they're going to hide it. But what if the spouse knew about it and showed the evidence, was like, well, I understand why they're doing it, whatever. No, they would divorce them. And they would probably chew them out. It would be miserable for the cheater. And that's what should be done. That's how you learn. You learn through experience. You learn through pain, not to do that again. I used to have a drinking problem. How did I stop? The pain that came along with drinking. You know, the disruption in family, the sickness. I even got pancreatitis. The pain made me quit. Not reasoning. I knew it didn't make any sense to begin with. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's my whole dollar bill, I guess. But I'd like to hear your comments. Definitely felt like you before. I didn't do this for a long time to not look just like the Jehovah's Witnesses, but you really don't look like the witnesses. So anyway, thank you.